Do you suffer from anxious thoughts? In this video, you're going to discover how to stop thinking anxiously and find the inner peace you seek. When you suffer from anxiety, you can think all the time. You can start thinking anxiously as soon as you wake up each day. You can be stuck in your head trying to think your way out of your anxious thinking all day. You can have obsessive thoughts. You can think critical thoughts like you're not good enough or people don't like you. You may think you're a bad person. You may worry about the future and have a head full of what ifs. You may be living in the past and dwell on things which happened to you yesterday, last week, or even many years ago. When you think anxious thoughts, you have a strong emotional reaction of fear. They frighten you. So it's only natural for you to do everything you can to get rid of them. You may try to change your thoughts. You may try to figure them out. You try to find some solution to make them go away. Maybe you try to only think positive thoughts and not negative ones. You may try affirmations and come up with a positive thought for every anxious thought you think. This may make you feel better for a moment. However, the effect never lasts. It won't be long before the anxious thinking comes back. Trying to control your thoughts can become an internal battle which mentally drains you. If you suppress one anxious thought, another will come along and take its place. No matter what you do, you can't get any relief. This is because you're trying to stop thinking with more thinking. You're adding more thoughts to a mind which is already full of thoughts. Don't try to change your thoughts. It's pointless. You can't control what you're going to think. You can't stop a thought with another thought. You can't stop thinking anxiously by adding more thoughts to your thoughts. If you do, you'll get caught in a loop of anxious thinking. You'll always be stuck in your head. Fighting your way out of your anxious thinking is like being in quicksand. The more you fight with your thoughts, the deeper you sink. At the same time, you shouldn't try to stop thinking. Thinking is a natural part of life. It's what makes us human. To deal with anxious thoughts, you first need to understand why you think them. Then you can start changing your relationship with them. So why do you think anxious thoughts? Put simply, you think anxious thoughts because of the anxious state you're in. When you have anxiety, you have a lot of negative anxious energy in you, which needs to be released. This release can come in the form of anxious thoughts and sometimes obsessive thoughts. When you think them, they scare you and you think they're real. However, it's important to realize your thoughts aren't reality. They're just nervous energy in a tired mind. There's no reason to fear them. You shouldn't take them seriously. To get rid of anxious thoughts, you need to change your relationship with them. The problem isn't your anxious thoughts. You can think whatever thought you want. The problem is when you believe and fear your anxious thoughts. When you believe your anxious thoughts, then you're teaching your brain to have an interest in them. Your belief and interest in your thoughts give them fuel. When you believe or identify with anxious thoughts, then you bring them to life. You make them appear real and scary. Your brain thinks your anxious thoughts are important. You take them seriously. The way to get free from anxious thoughts is to do the opposite. Stop taking them seriously. Stop believing them. Stop having so much interest in them. See them as merely forms of energy passing through your mind which have no real meaning. Stop identifying with your anxious thoughts. Realize you have anxious thoughts because of your current anxious state and let them go. They're not worth your belief or interest. When you stop believing and taking your anxious thoughts seriously, then you can think whatever thought you want and it won't matter. They will no longer affect you. You can think whatever thought comes into your head and no longer care about it. You will have achieved true freedom. When you see your thoughts are just due to the state you're in and you stop believing in them, then they lose their power over you. If you start worrying about an upcoming social event you have to attend, some tasks you have to do for work, an exam you have to study for, or a self-critical thought enters your head about you not being good enough, just let the thought be there. Don't give it any belief or attention. See it as just a meaningless thought in your head, which has no bearing on reality. You don't have to do anything about your anxious thoughts. You don't have to try and change them. You don't have to try and work them out. You don't have to try and get rid of them. When you stop believing your anxious thoughts, you will stop being afraid of them and they will stop controlling your life. You can let them be in your head all day because they no longer matter. You can now see through them. You may continue thinking anxious thoughts for a while. However, they will now be like faint echoes, thoughts which used to loom large in your mind. They're just internal noise which aren't worthy of your attention. They're like ripples you see after throwing a stone into a lake which eventually fades away. Even if you still have an emotional reaction, this will become less and less. They'll get weaker and weaker, and you'll realize they'll go completely as more time passes. Become aware of the attention and belief you're putting in them. You don't need to try to change your thoughts or to try to stop them. Get on with living your life and accept whatever thoughts come and go. This video was inspired by Paul David's book, At Last, A Life and Beyond. You can visit Paul's website by seeing the link in the description. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. Thank you.